Well, hello everybody and happy coffee chat time again. We're back again. I'm Sherry Smeraglia and I'm here with Carol Tuberville. And today I have Joseph behind the camera and Will. Joseph is going to monitor all you that sign on and monitor your questions because I think today we might have lots of questions about this topic.
Yeah.
But before we get into the topic, let's let everybody join and let's just play catch up, Carol. What in the world's been going on all day?
Well,
What's your day like?
Well, it was a busy day. It is hot.
That's what I said yesterday. I said, okay, it's officially summer next Wednesday, okay,
Yes.
the 21st. But yesterday when I walked outside, it hit me like a sauna in the face. And I was like, it is officially June.
Yes, it is so warm outside. So we are in AC maintenance mode to make sure that's like the only way you can breathe right now is with the air conditioners running. So doing that, just a normal day. Talked to a couple of clients today.
How's everybody doing? The clients?
Everybody doing pretty good. No big issues. Nothing major happening.
Carol has to take all the medical phone calls and any after adoption issues that are over the head of maybe the adoption team and the other people, but they didn't have to forward too many to you?
No, not a whole lot. And most of what I deal with too is just working on, sometimes things don't go as planned, and sometimes people have to return a puppy or an adult dog. We've had that actually happened this week where we had an adult dog that had to come back. And
how's our parent dog adoption program
The
going?
list is like almost all the way worked through. So you guys have done a great job. They've all gotten fabulous homes for the most part. We still have a few available.
I mean, just last week, it was like the office was bombarded. We have these gorgeous parent dogs and we're going to continue, of course, forever retiring our dogs in our program, but we're going to get a real great system of actually putting a tab on our site so you can see who's going to retire in 2024 and we'll go ahead and have them pre-adopted and ready to go. But people are loving them.
Oh yeah, and they're great dogs. It's a great opportunity to get a dog that's had all the health screenings done. What you see is what you get, and behavior is great. They're out of all those puppy phases and stages. Just a great
works
dog.
great. Yeah. So Joe, do we have any comments yet?
No comments yet.
Okay, well, you just guys, if y'all have any comments, we will be here to answer them. So we've had quite an interesting week. Of course, it's only Tuesday, but it feels like by the time I get at 3:15 on Tuesday, I feel like I've been here almost a week.
Oh yeah. Today's been an interesting week in our livestock area on our farm side.
Yeah, we had Natalie's horse that she got for her 18th birthday, Disco. We've been waiting on him to be ready to be neutered. And I guess that's what you call it in a horse.
Well, it's in any male it's a castration, but in a horse it's gelding.
Okay, well, I say neutered because I even told my husband whenever it was time, I would say, you need to get neutered. And he was like, I don't think that's what you tell guys.
It's not, but I'm with you. We all understand that.
Yeah, but anyway, so Natalie was like, what a procedure that was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they just
out
do
in
it
the
right
field.
here on the ground in the field.
Yep.
And he just laid down on the ground and they put him under anesthesia?
Yeah, so he did not just lay down.
Okay.
He is a noodle of a horse, meaning he's like a cat of a horse. Like you go to poke him one place and he spins this way and goes that way. So yes, it was a little bit of doing, but we got him under and then he lays on the ground and then they do the procedure right there.
So we were at lunch yesterday and I get a phone call from Natalie and she's like, Mom, you're not going to believe they literally took a drill to Disco and twisted the testicles right off of him. And I'm like,
yep. So that's how we dock tails.
yes, I know, but I wasn't prepared to hear that at lunch.
I agree. What were you having for lunch?
I was at the Mexican restaurant with Jacob having his 35th birthday, and Jacob and I just went, and I'm like, I am actually having lunch. And then and she was like, and then they dissected them right there. And I'm like, okay, this is lunch.
This is enough.
I need to stop. So sorry if you're having lunch. It's 3 o'clock, so you're probably not having lunch.
Yeah. But yeah, they did. So
quite a busy day.
It was a busy day. Mm-hmm. And the other thing this week in livestock that happened is our peacocks, our girl peacocks, peahens, have decided that they don't like us getting their eggs. So they have taken to laying them on the roof. So now when you walk out, you look up and there's eggs that you are not going to reach. And we're not sure what's going to happen as those get old.
Well, but with the sun getting hot, are they like in an incubator up there?
I don't know. That's kind of where we're going. So we're going to have to figure this one out.
That will be, we will let you guys in on that. That's quite an interesting thing. So life on the farm. That's what we have right here at Smeraglia. It's all about life on the farm.
Always something new.
Yeah, and so today our topic is yucky secretions. Oh my gosh. So Joe, do we have friends here?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see who's here. Tell me some of the people that's here. I love to know. All right.
I only see 2 of them.
Okay. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see, but if you're here, make a comment.
6 people.
Okay. Well, if you're here, make a comment. Joe can fill me in if you have a comment. Okay.
Just say hi.
Say hello because it's yucky secretions, and we have got to talk about it, and we felt like it is necessary because I don't want you to feel like you want to back out on getting a puppy or a dog and to bring them into your life. But there are things, it's like, having a baby. There's things, they burp, they throw up, they have protrusion, vomit.
There's definitely things that come out.
Yes, things that come out. And so today it's about the yucky things that happen, and you're like, what the heck just happened? And Joe, who's sitting right here, he is, 26 years old, and yet Joe had never had this happen to him while we were at the condo a few weeks ago. Yeah, and he had Hermione there, and she was just there, and the next thing you know, she's a house dog. She's there. She lives with Joe and Lauren. They live together, my son and daughter. And they have 3 dogs there. And she just got excited, not sure what happened next. And then all of a sudden, Joe, who had just taken a shower, had all this stuff on him. And he was like grossed out. It was horrible. Yeah. And then we were all laughing because it was kind of funny, his reaction.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny, but we're like, so many people
funny.
Were like, what in the world? So let's talk about the science of what happens. But I know that dogs have these 2 anal sacs, okay? Now, when you look at their little bottom, you don't see them. You can't see them, okay?
Their
so you
anal
just see
glands.
their little bottom, okay? Without being too graphic, their little bottom, and then they have little glands right beside it.
Just right beside its little glands, and
you can feel.
Well, if they've got stuff in them, you can feel it for sure. It feels like, depending on the size of the dog, but like 2 marbles if they're full. And it's just on either side of the anal opening, and basically they make a fluid, we'll call it. It has varying consistencies as far as how thick it is, depending on how long it's been in there, and how well your dog is at it, how good they are at expressing them themselves. But the glands produce this fluid that is used for both lubrication as they're going to the bathroom and scent marking. A lot of dogs release their anal glands when they are nervous or afraid.
Okay, so scent marking. Will a dog, they have control over them?
In some way. But it's when they defecate. It's going to go out, and then now this has got a unique smell to it that says, hey,
this is me.
This is my poop pile.
My territory.
Right, which is also why as your dog walks by and sees a pile of poop, you're like, they gotta go and sniff it. And you're like, why are you sniffing that? That's gross. But they're sniffing it because there's scent markers there.
Oh, and they were like, oh, that Hermione did that. Oh, Lily did that. Oh, Fletcher did that.
Oh, who the heck was in my yard?
Oh, this is a new dog up in my yard.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's also where the scent comes from when they're checking each other's scent, like getting to know each other, greeting each other.
But it's very similar to like the skunk gland, like skunk odor.
It's really bad.
Where it's kind of gross It's a lot gross. It smells really bad, and they will release them. So anybody who's ever worked in a vet clinic, they will tell you their first experience with anal glands was a dog getting very afraid as they were holding the dog, and they always get squirted like right in the ear.
It's the grossest thing. Joe?
Same as groomers.
Questions.
Yes, okay. What are the questions? Get close.
Taylor, right there.
Yes?
Is wondering about her dog.
Okay.
She says that they smell often and wondering if they need to be expressed.
Potentially. So professional groomers or the vet can always check on that. Now, most dogs, particularly large breed dogs, will express their anal glands themselves, and you don't have to have it done. Now, sometimes smaller dogs, because they live in the house, they don't express them themselves quite as well. And they can then, instead of being more of a fluid and liquid consistency, it'll become thicker, which then becomes harder for them to express. That then becomes thicker and then harder to express. And then it has to be, we'll say, manually expressed.
Yeah.
Which means basically the vet or
But
groomer
that's when you see your dog like scooting his little bottom across the grass or the favorite rug in your house. You're like, stop that. What are you doing now? It might not always be. It just might be to itch. But,
Right. But a lot of times it is.
A lot of times it is that. And that's why when I see my dogs, I'm like, no, you are not allowed to do that in the house. And I get on to them and correct them because you are not doing that in the house. If that is what you're up to, it's not happening here.
Right.
Do it outside.
So do ask your groomer about it. I will say that there is a lot of, everybody's got a different opinion as far as groomers and vets. I don't know, which one actually is true, but a lot of
Some
times.
groomers don't want to do it.
Because, and that's what I was,
Yeah.
you were right on the same track with me, is a lot of groomers and vets feel like once you start expressing them, the dog will, because now it's not there to express, they'll get out of doing it themselves, and now they will have to always be expressed.
So have any of you guys ever experienced this? And are you aware of this? Is this like new information that you're like, oh my gosh, I pray that never happens? And you may have had a dog 15 years and never had this happen. Like at my house, London is 13, and I don't recall this ever happening to London. Fletcher, God forbid the big boy like him, it happens at my house. No. Any other comments, Joe?
So Karis is
Okay.
Karis is pretty old, and I've never, I don't express hers, and the groomers never have to do it either.
Yeah,
so she's pretty good, and
it's
she's
happening.
small.
It's pretty common for them to take care of it themselves.
Correct.
All right, Joe.
Just people saying hello.
Good.
Oh, okay. Who?
Yeah. Kristen Lockwood,
Oh,
Diane
hey.
Cunningham, Trisha Spar said great topic.
Yeah, I know, Trisha. This is a good one. Have you had to have yours? Like, when you guys go to the vet, is this something common that your groomers deal with? Do your vets deal, or is it something that you just never had thought
Meredith
of?
does it on her own, she says.
Meredith. I know. I've seen Meredith do it. I mean, because a lot of them, they just bathe their dogs. The best time to do it is if you're going to give them a bath, because if it gets yucky, you can just have them in the bathtub. That is the absolute best time. That's why we ask groomers to do it, but our groomers will do it to our dogs if they feel like they need to. Maybe that's why I've never had an issue.
And maybe.
Because I regularly have my dogs groomed, and our groomers know
Right.
to
And
take care of
so,
it.
like for me, my personal dogs, my routine is, and I don't always express them, but I do always check them. And if I can feel them really easily, I'll express. If I can't feel them really easily, I leave it alone.
So if you feel like a lumpy, marbly vibe, you're like,
and,
oh, okay.
And so, like a
something.
dog Karis size, it's going to be like a size of a pencil eraser or like a pea.
Okay.
Because I mean, she's tiny, but
Yeah.
a dog like Fletcher size, it's going to be like the size of a big grape in there. But what I do is, so my routine is I put the dogs in the tub, and then I put ear cleaner in the ears and go ahead and do that. Squish, squish, let them shake. Then I will trim the nails, and then I check the anal glands, and if they need to be expressed, I put on a nice rubber glove. And then I just go ahead and express,
Okay, now,
catch it in my glove.
do you take them from the top? I know, like, you're
And
going to
kinda
lift
work-
their tail, and you're going to lift above it. You're going to feel it. You're going to grab both sides, and you're going to press together, kind of like this, and kind of out and forward. And it's just like a gland. It's like a cyst.
It is. Like you're almost popping it. Now, I'll say I have a little different technique. So when you pull the tail up, the booty hole, the anal opening will kind of protrude out.
Yeah.
And so for me, and it's just
You go from the
experience,
bottom?
I go from the bottom. And the reason is if you go from the top, it's squirting. And I want to control what it hits.
Right. So you're...
So I come from the bottom. So the glands are above it at like 10 and 2. So as I get to the glands, my gloved hand is over the opening, so that then as it expresses, it's hitting my rubber glove that then I will peel off, tie up, and then throw away. Then I take my ear cleaner and put it over, because ear cleaner neutralizes that smell, rubber.
Oh, yeah, that is good.
Then bathe.
So do any of you guys have your own technique different than this? If you do, let me know.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any tool out there that does this for you. You actually need to use your hands because it's the safest thing. There's no tool. But yes, gloves are a must. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely don't do it barehanded. And another note, don't look while you're doing it.
Do not look.
You'd be surprised how many times you have to remind people, don't look while you're doing it. Kind of trust the process. Do not get your face down there.
Oh my gosh, what a gross topic.
So, how about other secretions?
There are lots of others, and Joe, if they have any questions, of course, just interrupt us and let us know. The other one that I feel like I'm dealing with more than that right now is that London lately has been, and she is 13, and she hates to only eat dog food. So she actually will go like on a strike, a dog food strike, until she basically, I think it's a hunger strike. I am not eating that. I'm not eating. I know there's people food in here. I know. I see the refrigerator. And after maybe 3 meals in our house, she finally, you can see her go over there and eat a little bit. But so I think she gets herself super empty. Her stomach is so empty. And she'll drink water, and then she'll go outside because now she's not eating. She'll go outside and she'll nibble on some grass. And I'm like, London, there's food. And it's almost like I'm refusing because she's at the age now where if I give her things that I used to could give her, I come in and it can upset her stomach. So I'm trying to judge. It's like, don't give her nothing but dog food. But yet she's so used to it. And so we're in that dilemma now. And then it'll be this clear, bubbly, foamy, yellow stuff. And she's doing it, but so is Mr. Big's Angie's dog doing it. And it almost looks like just spit up. There's really not much in it, and if there is, it's just grass particles. There's never any food. It's because she's not eating nothing.
So dogs will vomit bile a lot of times because their stomach is a little too empty.
Yeah.
And so what we always think about is, or what I always think about is when a woman gets morning sickness, it's always in the morning because that's when their stomach is the emptiest. And that's a lot of people feel nauseous when their stomach is too empty. I do too. And so dogs are the same way, and because there's nothing in their stomach when they vomit, it's basically the bile that comes up, and that's what you'll see. So some tricks to kind of alleviate that. One is, and they're eating the grass to try to neutralize that a little bit. But a couple tricks that you can do is, one, try to keep your dog from having a too empty stomach. A lot of times people will report that this happens first thing in the morning, or they'll see it in the crate when they wake up, or they'll see it around the house whenever they wake up in the morning. So you could give a little snack in the evening. Something that's really high fiber and going to take a little while to digest. You could do some really plain applesauce, like the type they make for babies. You can do some like non-fat
She
plain
would
yogurt.
probably like that just on her dog food. You know, I just don't always have applesauce and yogurt and stuff like that.
But you could also just do some rice.
Yeah.
Just some plain brown rice. You can even cook the rice with some chicken broth or beef broth as opposed to water. And the rices shouldn't upset their stomach. It should give them the fiber that they need to kind of help with that and to keep the bile from happening. And it's not something that's so fantastic that it will create hunger strikes. It's something special, and the smell is what tells a dog something's going to taste really good. That's why you can kind of cheat with the rice and cook it with chicken bouillon or beef bouillon or something like that, and then it'll smell a lot better.
She's just a diva. But you know, I don't know why Mr. Biggs is now doing the same thing. So I don't know if it's the season, they're not drinking enough, maybe dehydration. We just got to really pay attention to that.
You'll see it too with the activity level changes. And so a lot of times as their activity level changes, they'll adjust how much they eat. And so like right now it is so hot that the dogs are a lot lazier than they normally would. Which means their caloric needs go down and they just don't feel like eating as much.
Yeah.
Then the opposite happens in the winter. They get super active, burn through their calories, and then you end up with them not eating enough, and then you have the whole other problem.
Right. That's an interesting secretion. All right, the other one somebody was asking me about this week is like, what about their eyes and the things that come out of their eyes? And it is normal for dogs to get sleep or gunk in their eyes, and just like people do after sleep. But if you have a lot of it and it just keeps showing up and drainage coming out, then that could definitely be a tear duct infection or something like that.
Well, dogs are a lot lower to the ground than us. And so us being up high like we are, and we don't have our nose on the ground all the time sniffing at everything, we have stuff whenever we wake up in the morning, and even during the day we'll get stuff in our eyes.
Yeah, where the eyes just secrete more.
Well, I know like today's Tuesday. Yesterday I was out in the barn quite a bit, and it's really dusty in the barn, so I found I was doing this all the time just because there was a lot more in the air. So my eyes do that too, but now you have a dog who's low to the ground, sniffing everything. They just have a lot more that can get into their eyes, which is why you'll see more of it. And then they don't have thumbs and they don't wash their face in the morning to then come in and do that. So you have to help them out a little bit.
Okay, there's another one. It's kind of gross, and but somebody was asking me about this week, and it was like they saw like on the little boy, like their penis part, it was like green, yucky.
Girls will get that too.
I know the girls do too, but this happened to not be on a girl, and it was so there, and they were like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And they were so freaked out. If that happens to you, you might freak out too and wonder what in the world. You don't want to see that on a baby or your child or your puppy. So, all right, so we see that.
So again, dogs low to the ground. They actually sit and put their body parts right on the ground and into the dirt. They're things. And so their body has a system for cleaning that out. So girl dogs are more prone to urinary tract infections because they have a more open system than the boys do. So like when they sit on the ground or go tinkle, they're like right on the ground.
Yeah,
and things can get up in
and we
there.
have to be really careful if you've had your lawn treated with chemicals and things like that, because the little girls can just squat too low, and next thing you know,
or just sitting and like when they sit, it's right there.
Yeah, that's true. We got to pay attention to that.
So, and then same for boys. When they sit, everything is right there, but their body is designed to produce what it needs to keep everything kind of cleaned out. So it'll be different colors. Boy dogs almost always have some type of secretion coming out the end of it's just the sheath that's over their penis. It's almost always got something. Sometimes it's green, sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's clear, but it just depends on what they're flushing out of their system at that moment.
So it's healthy.
It's healthy
It's not
for them to do.
abnormal unless it's like bad.
Unless it's really bad, unless they're licking at it a lot, or unless you're starting to see other symptoms like urinary symptoms, like I always say piddles instead of puddles, or the oops, I already went, not oh, I need to go. So like urinary tract infection type symptoms, and that would indicate something a little different is going on. Oops. But more often than not, it's typically going to be normal and okay for your dog to do it, but just pay attention to other things.
And speaking of the last other thing that we're going to talk about today is London's in a cone today.
Yep.
She is in a cone. And it is because London has been literally like gnawing at the back leg, and she's got this fluffy doodle coat, and all of a sudden there's this brown spot where she's just been gnawing on it. Looks like a hot spot, looks like she's dealing with something. So I text Carol and the medical team today, and I said, come get London, it's time for her bath. But after her bath, I want this cone on her head because she's dealing with something. The vet will be here tomorrow. We're going to have it looked at. But upon more investigation, you realize you're thinking it might be a cyst.
It's either a sebaceous cyst or a lit granuloma.
Okay.
And I will explain.
Okay.
So there's lots of little lumps and bumps that dogs can get, and a couple of them. So sebaceous cyst, people can get them. Basically, it is like a bigger pimple.
Yeah.
Basically, you get a cyst that's just right at the layer of skin. It'll fill up with pus and just grossness.
It's a gross topic.
And you squeeze
I don't
it,
like to say
and
pus.
it comes straight on out. Lit granuloma, kind of the same thing, but it's harder. And basically, you squeeze it, stuff comes out of it too. In any case, they need to be treated so that we can make
she's
sure.
being treated.
Yep. But yeah, it's kind of gross.
It's gross topics, but y'all been asking, and I was like, okay, we're gonna just talk. One day we're gonna just do the grossness all in one day.
Knock it out.
Because I'm not trying to talk you out of getting a dog. I'm telling you, just need to know about little things that pop up. Hey, but the goodness that comes out of them and the greatness from our dogs, they're worth everything that we have to deal with.
Yeah, so other secretions you guys are going to see that are totally normal, don't worry a ton about, is clear discharge from their nose, a little bit of mucus, totally okay. I wouldn't worry about it. Tears, also normal, just like for you, tears are normal. That's how you keep the eyes flushed out. Now, if the tears become excessive, now that's where you worry. If nasal discharge becomes excessive or discolored, that's where you worry about it. Also, Your dogs, especially this time of year, they're gonna pant, they're gonna drool, and I am grossed out by spit and saliva, so I don't love drooly everywhere. But dogs will drool quite a bit. I actually, in my dog bag, and I know all of you guys who are doodle owners have a dog bag, I keep a real handy towel in there so I can not only wipe the mouth, but wipe inside to get all that drool that's fixing to come out.
Okay, there you go. You don't like the drool, so it's a good thing we do doodles and you don't have the drooly breeds.
Oh, yeah.
Because some of the drooly breeds with all the slobber, you could not deal with those.
Let me tell you, when Charles and I first got together, we had Rottweilers. And that's what taught me to,
they
the shoestring.
They just hang.
No.
And then they sling their heads and it like in slow motion.
Oh yes, no. It's like a lubricant. It's like, ugh,
No.
just slimy. Yes, but that's what taught me to keep a drool rag with me whenever I go anywhere with my dogs.
Well, you know what? Dogs are great, and every dog is unique and different. And you may have a dog your whole life and never have any of these issues, but hey, in the event that something like this comes up, we're here for you, especially if it's one of our dogs. You can always ask questions, reach out to us. We just like to answer all the gross questions and make sure that you know and you're prepared.
Yep. And some of the grossness is supposed to be there.
Yeah. It's just part of it.
Yep.
Well, you guys, this was a great coffee chat, right?
Yep.
Good topic for today. Things you needed to know heading into the summer. Next Wednesday is the first day of summer, so we're just getting you covered, getting you prepared. So you guys have a great afternoon. We've got lots of cuteness coming up today. So many cute, adorable puppies. I cannot even stand it, how cute some of them are. And also, if you're still looking to adopt a parent dog, we have maybe a few spots left, but if we don't, get on the list for the upcoming parent dogs. All right, guys, you have a great day. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.